In these times, we need someone like Mayor Bloomberg, who is unafraid of taking on the big battles and has a record of winning the toughest fights. He's done it before, and he can do it again. It is my pleasure to introduce you the next President of the United States, Mayor Mike Bloomberg.
Well, good evening, everyone. I will say neither of those young ladies need lessons in being enthusiastic. Thank you all for coming and joining me here. Some people said, well, what's your connection with Milwaukee? I grew up in Boston, and the Braves were there when I grew up. Enough said. And I just bought a bunch of cheese curds from the public market. Ate a number of them. I bought a six-pack of beer. I did not try the beer yet, but that's okay. Thank you all for coming, and welcome to our new headquarters. We're going to have headquarters all over the state, and the Spotted Cow beer will be given out. We're going to give out beers when people come in? Is that? Anyways, seriously, Milwaukee is one of the great cities, and not only because you have great beer, but because you have great mayors. And your mayor, Tom, has just been, I've known him for 15 years. We met back when he was in his first term, and Donald Trump was only on his fifth bankruptcy. Tom was a founding member of our coalition of mayors against illegal guns, and he came to our very first meeting in New York. I also wanted to thank Alderman Bob Bauman, former mayor of Racine Deckard, and Darrell Morin for showing me around Milwaukee today. They're great tour guides and even better public servants, all kidding aside. Milwaukee has been as welcoming as this time, more so than the last couple times. Nobody at last couple times came up and said, thanks for running and thanks for coming and that sort of thing. They just sort of let me walk by and didn't pay any attention. The Bucks are actually in New York tonight, playing the New York Knicks. I have tickets to the Knicks. You want to know how many times I've gone to Knicks games? Do not ask. The Bucks have the best record in the NBA. But if you want to make news, our Knicks are on the way to an impressive achievement of their own, one of the worst records of all time. Seriously, you don't see a lot of Democratic candidates around here, and I thought that was a bad mistake back in 2016, and we're not going to make that mistake again. Our campaign is going to make Wisconsin a top priority, not starting in the spring or the summer, but right now. We're opening our other offices right away. This is one of the first cities on my whistle-stop campaign. I started the morning in Philadelphia, went to Detroit, went to here, back to New York. Church tomorrow morning, and then Sunday to Houston. So now you're going to ask why I'm going to church tomorrow morning? My mother used to ask me, why did you go to church all the time when I was mayor, but that's okay. We are going to be registering voters in all of these states because in 2016, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania was supposed to be our blue wall, but we can't wait to the general election to start rebuilding it. We've got to start right now. And one of the things I've committed to is keeping our campaign headquarters open until November. So God forbid I am not the candidate. We're still going to work for whoever is, and we're going to make sure that we deliver in November and replace the president. The path to victory in 2020 runs right through this state, and we are in it for the long haul. And I think our party was wise in picking the city to host our convention. If you'd done it 4 years ago, or they'd done it 4 years ago, history would have been a lot different. This country would have been a lot better off, but it isn't. So we have to go on and make sure that we don't make the same mistake again. I gave a speech in Philadelphia at the DNC convention in 2016, and I described Donald Trump as somebody that was not fit to be president, didn't have the work ethic or the honesty or the knowledge. And I said, I'm from New York, and I know a con man when I see one. Yeah. I've heard that line more than anything else I've ever said in my life, so it must be good. But anyways, we're here, and we're not going to stay just through the 7th of April, but we're going to stay the whole ways. And you are going to be happy, I think, of how this turns out. Wisconsin is one of the key states in this country, and it's certainly a key state in our electoral process. You re-elected your Senator, Tammy Baldwin, by 10 points. You elected Tony Evers as your governor. And you sent Scott Walker off to an early retirement. I think I did my part. I supported 24 congressional delegates in 2018 who were good on guns and good on climate. 21 of them won. That flipped the House from red to blue. It put Pelosi in charge, and that's where impeachment came out of. Somebody the other day said to me, "You're spending a lot of money." And I said, "Yes, I'm making an investment in replacing Donald Trump. It's the best investment I could ever make. You want me to spend more or less?" I think most people... Let me talk about 2 seconds, and we can get to shake some hands and take some pictures. Somebody said, "Why are you running?" And the first thing is, Trump's an existential threat to this country. You've just got to do it, and I'll do everything I can to replace him. And I think the second thing is, Trump has pulled this country apart, and some of it was done even before him. We've just got to pull everybody together. We've got to get people from both sides of the aisles to come together and craft legislation to address the problems that we have. We have homeless in the streets, we have guns, we have the climate, we have an education system, an immigration system. All these things are failing us, and we just can't go on this way. So we've got to pull things together. And I think, given I was 12 years mayor of the most progressive, largest city in this country, I know how to address all of those issues. It's not going to be easy, but I am telling you, you can scale up what we did in New York. If you go to New York now, there fundamentally is no crime. If you go to New York right now, you will fundamentally not see people on the streets. And virtually every other city in this country has both those problems. If you go to this country and look around, we have closed 299 out of the 530 coal-fired power plants. Greenhouse gases in America are down 14%, and we will have all the coal out of the system by the year 2030. We've got to do that around the world. And I just listened to Trump having a fight with China when we need China to work with us on climate change. Yes, we should compete with them. Yes, it's been unfair and all that sort of thing. But if China and India don't help, we have no chance. And just take a look at what's happening, the fires and the floods and the storms and whatever. We've just got to address this issue. Trump is not suited for the job. I think I've had the experience. I think America is best when we work together and find solutions. I'm just tired of somebody dividing us for political purposes, by party, by race, by ethnicity. The president is supposed to be the leader of the entire country, not the head of a party once she gets elected. And I would not make that mistake. Our campaign is off to a great start. I have been to how many states or cities, Kevin? Do we have any idea? I don't know. How many? 14 states so far, and I've only been at this 3.5 weeks. So, now, will I sleep on the plane tonight? You betcha, I certainly will go back. Seriously, it is, it is just so thrilling. I don't know I can't explain the feeling when we walked through one of the markets and everybody, not everybody, but lots of people, "Oh, there's Mike Bloomberg. Do a good job. Thanks for running," on and on and on. I got to get my daughters when I get back. I have 2 daughters, 39 and 36. I have 2 grandkids, 5 and 4 years old. My grandkids won't care, but I want to sit down with my daughters and just describe the thrill of going around and being able to look people in the eye who think you may be able to help them. It is an awesome responsibility, and I can just tell you, I may not be the smartest guy in the world, but nobody's going to outwork me. Nobody's going to be more honest than I am. And I really do believe, most importantly, I can put together teams of people who really are the ones that do the work. It's never one person. Somebody said, they were very smart, they said there is no I in the word team. And somebody else answered, yes, but if you look at a Trump group, there's no T, E, A, or M. Thank you all.